So the Oscars were last night. Nobody cares, of course. I will mention two things briefly. First of all, I have to say, a movie called No Other Land won the Oscar for Best Documentary. It's apparently a movie about how Palestinians are supposedly oppressed or whatever. The filmmakers were on the red carpet draped in Palestinian flags. So that of course they won. You know, that was, you could see that coming from a mile away. What's funny is that all the headlines are saying how No Other Land was the highest grossing Oscar-nominated documentary of 2024, which is true. It grossed $420,000 in the US. But the Oscar-nominated bit is an important qualifier because, of course, our documentary, Am I Racist?, grossed more than 25 times more than the highest grossing Oscar-nominated documentary. So put it into more perspective, our film grossed 4 times as much on the first day of release than this movie did in its whole theatrical run. And we weren't even on the short list. Nobody saw this movie. It had no cultural impact at all, like none. But it won because it had the right politics. So that's how it goes. And just pointing it out. That's all. Just a little disclaimer there, a little qualifier when you hear about highest grossing Oscar-nominated documentary. Speaking of politics, Julianne Hough, I think is the last name. Is it Ho or Huff? How? I think Huff. Huff, okay. Julianne Hough, who's a singer or something, maybe an actress, actually delivered a land acknowledgement from the red carpet, which is very funny for a lot of reasons. One of them is that it's the kind of troll that I would have done if I was nominated, which was never going to happen. But she did it for real. This was not meant to be a troll. This is not a joke. This is completely sincere. Let's hear it.
We gather in celebration of the Oscars on the ancestral lands of the Tongva, Tataviam, and Chumash peoples, the traditional caretakers of this water and land. We honor and pay our respects to indigenous communities here and around the world.
So that's it. I mean, you really can't even make fun of that. It's a land acknowledgement delivered by a white lady in a $100,000 dress on a red carpet at the Oscars. It's so on the nose, it's so perfect that what can you even add to it? I will say one thing just for the record, and let's just take the first tribe that she listed there in her little land acknowledgement. And you can play this game with any tribe in any land acknowledgement that's ever been recited. But she pays respects to the Tongva tribe. And here's the interesting thing about the Tongva tribe. They've been in the Southern California area for a long time, sure. But there was a more ancient tribe that was in Southern California for thousands of years before the Tongva. So the Tongva missed out on being the first tribe. Like, they missed that distinction by several thousand years. Who was the first tribe? Well, they don't exist anymore. They existed at one point, but the Tongva killed or displaced them all and stole their land. So I go back to my point that if the Tongva are indigenous to Southern California, then so are white people. Tongva have been here for a long time. They weren't first. They killed whoever was here first. White people been here for a long time, not first. They conquered the land, just like the Tongva did, and the cycle continues. So, of course, when they start listing all the names of the tribes and all that, they don't expect you to, and certainly don't want you to actually Google who these tribes are and what their history is and how they ended up on the land and how exactly they came to possess and control the land before the white Europeans moved in. Hey, YouTube, thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like access to my full show with no ads, you should go to dailywire.com and use promo code Walsh to get 2 months free on all annual plans. See you there.